Hi guys, so before we start I just need to apologize for the sound. I had my mic hooked up and everything, but then when I went to record sound, I forgot to turn off the fucking metronome, so there's click, 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 so that would just be annoying to listen to, so you'll just be listening with my camera audio. I apologize. Thanks.
Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Victoria and I just wanted to talk about something that has been lying on my heart lately. Well, the topic that a lot of people have been discussing lately is the safety around especially children in the film industry. I myself watched the documentary Quiet on Set, and just like everyone else, it deeply disturbed me, and ever since watching that documentary, it's been on my mind, and I've been watching a lot of videos about it, and I downloaded Jennette McCurdy's audiobook, I'm Glad My Mom Died, and that has also, just ever since I've read that book, I just feel the need to talk about it, so I'm going to talk about it today. These two big things, and just everything surrounding around child actors and the mistreatment of minors, and it's really messy. God, so obviously the whole thing is fucked up. After watching the documentary, dude, when Drake Bell came into frame, I got chills. My heart dropped. I was like, oh my god. And I can't believe that he opened up about this thing that happened to him years ago that was completely, he was kept anonymous for all of these years, and he told his story, and all of these legal documents have come out. Oh, that was really graphic and gruesome, and I can't even, how the fuck does somebody do that to a child, let alone anyone? And it's obviously so rampant for some reason in the film industry. Just these predators, it's insane to me, and there needs to be a change. It's insane, it's creepy. It's one of the biggest reasons that I would be afraid to join the film industry. And that's why I would never go to Hollywood, first of all. If I ever went to the film industry, it would just be independent kind of thing, because I'm scared of these kinds of people that take advantage of young and upcoming stars. And obviously I don't want to be an actress or an actor or anything like that, but even people behind the scenes get preyed on. Those the female writers, one of them, she was telling how she had to share a salary with another woman, and it's just women just get shit on. And obviously it's a little bit better nowadays, but it's still fucked up. Obviously these things are still happening. Sorry if you can hear my cat, she's playing with a toy on the ground. Anyway, after watching the documentary, I was curious about Jennette's book, because I've heard she talks about her experience working for Dan Schneider, Nickelodeon. Oh, it's crazy. It's really fucked up. After reading her book, I was curious, I get morbidly curious sometimes. One of the biggest themes in Jennette's book is her eating disorder, and her mother. Oh, it's just so fucked up how her mother introduced an eating disorder to her. How could you do that to a child? She literally robbed her child of her fucking innocence and a fucking childhood, just in every single way. Obviously her mother had some type of narcissism, and I think bipolar, Jennette said, or something like that, or maybe borderline personality, I don't know, but god, people like that obviously should not have kids. And the fucking, cherry on top of the whole thing was how Jennette and her siblings were children out of an affair. Like her real dad, or her dad wasn't even her real dad. the one that she grew up with, and her mother always treated him like shit, and it's just like, this woman was obviously batshit crazy and insane. But one of the biggest reasons I wanted to talk about this is, well, I said it's been on my heart lately, because it's been weighing on me, because I grew up with Nickelodeon and these shows, especially iCarly, Drake and Josh, Zoe 101, like all of those classics. And yeah, even like the Amanda Show, I watched that shit too, and oh god, like, her story is insane also. I just, like, what are we doing? Why are we taking advantage of fucking children? Minors. They are going to be traumatized for the rest of their lives. It's literally child abuse. Especially in Drake's case, that was sexual abuse, and that's just like, he's gonna have this sexual trauma forever. And it's kind of true that when we have a traumatic event in our past as children, sometimes our mental age stops at that age. So like, say you're traumatized at 15, like your mind's basically gonna feel like you're 15 forever. Not to use that as an excuse or anything, but there tends to be a thing where he's kind of like preying on younger girls, and there was even a case where he was texting a minor some very sexual and inappropriate things. So, you know, hurt people, and it's just fucked up. Like, somehow this chain needs to break. This cannot continue being a trend, and that's why it's really important. Well, for survivors, like, obviously I don't want to force them to speak up, but it is important, and survivors need to be taken a lot seriously. Like, that's why a lot of survivors don't want to speak up, because they're like, oh, no one's gonna believe me. As a society, we just need to believe and listen to survivors and their stories, and history should not be repeated like this. These terrible and gruesome things should not be repeated. But yeah, obviously these child stars should seek therapy, because, and hopefully like that helps them. It's not an easy thing to recover, and obviously they'll hold that with them for the rest of their lives, but hopefully they get the support they need. Like, I just honestly just want to give them the biggest hug. Say hello to Clover. This is Clover. Back to what I was talking about with Jennette's mother introducing her to an eating disorder, in addition to like basically forcing her to act and being the main income for her fucking family. Ugh, people like that should not have children, let me just say. Like, I myself don't want kids, but I would never fucking subject anyone to that. Like, if somebody doesn't want to do something, I'm not gonna force them to do it. It's as simple as that. Just because it's her mother's dream, no. Her mom literally supported and encouraged and showed tips on how to starve herself. You should never, ever do that. Especially not to a child, because they're gonna latch onto that so quickly. It's going to become like just a part of their life, and it's gonna be so hard to break that habit. It's not even a habit, it's a fucking mental disorder, but it malnourishes a child, not only their body but their brain. And that is really fucked up for a growing individual. Kind of want to touch on this, but like, Jennette talked a lot about her eating disorder, and she was very honest, and I respect that and appreciate her honesty. And at times it was a bit triggering, because unfortunately I have struggled with an eating disorder, especially with like the restricting side. I was never into bulimia and throwing up, and when Jennette said that all of the puking inevitably caused one of her teeth falling out. Oh my god, I got chills. That's my worst fear, having a tooth fall out, first of all, but as a listener, reader, whatever, I put myself into her shoes, and just personally, I would have been like, okay, I'm done. That's it. Like, that's the final straw. Like, just, that's like my worst fear, losing a tooth like that. Like, sometimes I have nightmares where my teeth fall out, and I don't know. She was doing that to herself, and it's so sad. Such a sad form of self-harm, in my opinion. I really commend her for getting help. She's amazing. Like, I really do respect her. But people who are bulimic, they, like, their stomach literally, it feels the need to purge. And like she said, like, I mean, her body, it will absorb all the fat it can from the food to, you know, try to create this storage for energy, and that will make her gain weight. But in reality, it's just her body trying to store these fats to create energy for her body, obviously, so she can function. But then when she starves herself, that goes away, and it's just like this endless cycle. And I think your stomach creates more acid when you throw up all the time. I don't know, it's just like, it's really bad for your body, obviously, and your esophagus, your teeth, just everything. It's really bad. Yeah, when I was reading it was a tiny bit triggering, just as in my past kind of struggled with the restrictive side a little bit. I never went to the extreme extent that she went to, but like, just, yeah, when she was talking about eating disorder brain, just very relatable to an extent, but definitely not as far. And it was just mind-blowingly disturbing, but unfortunately a lot of people go through that, and it definitely is not talked about that much. And so I do respect her for being able to talk about even the dark sides, the hard truths. So back to the morbid curiosity I was talking about. After reading Jennette's experience while working on Nickelodeon and on the set of iCarly, she was in a full-blown eating disorder, struggling with anorexia, and I think she might have been starting to purge. Maybe, I don't know, I forget. Sometimes I can't grasp things properly, but yeah, that was all happening during iCarly, and so I started watching iCarly yesterday, and it's just like wild thinking about, like, looking back into the past, like, and then remembering my experience as a child watching it. And honestly, like, I did always think the cast of iCarly was very thin, especially the girls, but like, I didn't know they were fucking struggling that bad with eating. Like, I thought, oh, they're just naturally skinny or whatever, but no, they were, or at least not Sam, but Jennette was fully starving herself. It's just really sad to think about that, and that she was going through that as a kid. My eating disorder didn't really start till their puberty, so yeah, I guess it's kind of around the same time. But luckily for me, nobody introduced it to me. I just started like comparing myself to these thinner and, quite frankly, older women. Like, I was still a kid, like, my body still growing and filling in and everything. So it's just so sad when children starve themselves and have eating disorders like this, because they're still growing. They're going to start their growths in every aspect. And it's sad for the longest time how Jennette starved herself for so long that she wasn't even having periods. She didn't get her period till she was like, I think it was either 16 or 18. Maybe 16, I think. But that's just like, that's pretty late for a lot of girls. It's just so sad that her mother put her through that, just so she could appear younger. Huh? I wish there was more episodes of Quiet on Set, and I think there is a 5th episode that's coming out, but Honestly, I just want every creep to be exposed. And not only in Nickelodeon or children's studios and stuff like that, but I mean everywhere. I want every creep to get exposed, and I want them gone. I really just wish the industry was full of cool people who actually care about the craft and the art, and not just about money and greed and taking advantage of people and taking shortcuts and fucking people over and just preying on people just because they can, and they have all this power and all of this hush money and all of these people on their side. Like, it's literally, the industry is just all about who you know, and everyone's fucked up and everyone's hiding a creepy secret for some reason. I just really wish it wasn't like that. That's why I don't fuck with Hollywood, period. But yeah, I'd really be interested in watching more kinds of documentaries like this. Like, I really hope there are more like this. And it was really powerful and impactful with all of these interviews about the cast members who are now grown up and feel comfortable sharing their stories. And it's just really sad to hear that they went through all of this pain for our childhood. I grew up with that. Like, I was born in 98, so I was a kid during these shows. Like when Dan Schneider was having his golden era or whatever, while he was still active and around and being a creep. Also, back to iCarly. Now that I know about how creepy it is or whatever, secretly, like after watching Quiet on Set, it really does change my perspective about it. Like, everything is secretly a sexual innuendo, and it's really weird just looking back at that. Like, they were showing us this as children. Like, why? I feel like they're just secretly grooming us to be like hypersexual for some reason. I don't know why. It was really creepy, like all of those tweets and stuff being exposed about like Dan Schneider tweeting to children to send like pictures of themselves and feet pictures and stuff. It's like, ooh, just like feeding his foot fetish. I fucking hate when just these creepy, disturbed men secretly make their shows about their fetishes. Or not even secretly, it's very overt. Just like the movie I watched recently, Poor Things. That film was a fetish film, if I've ever seen a fetish film. If you want, I can go more into that in another video. I could talk about that movie all day long too, because I did not enjoy it, and it's a very polarizing film in my opinion. You either love it or you hate it, and I'm definitely on the hate it side, so yeah, just fucked up in my opinion. But yeah, I deeply hope for the future that, well, obviously these child stars get help, seek therapy, have support. I want them to get better. Like, this trauma is fucked up and it needs to be talked about more. Obviously, I'm glad this awareness is being spreaded a lot more, so hopefully in the future this shit is not allowed anymore. No more of this on set. Please, can we have some decent people? Please, I'm sick of it. Why is this being allowed? Why? Thank you. Okay. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.